Hi all of you. Today we are going to learn about the plant kingdom. So what is plant kingdom? The kingdom Plantae now contains all the eukaryotic generally multicellular chlorophyll containing organisms which have cellulosic cell wall and containing organisms which have autotrophic mode of nutrition. I've told you autotrophic mode of nutrition is the one which can prepare their own food. So on the under plant kingdom, you have five different branches. Like we have algae, we have and we also have a bryophytes and pteridophytes and gymnosperms and angiosperms. So algae, bryophytes, gymnosperms, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms come under plant kingdom. So these are the one like algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms under comes under Plantae. So algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes. Algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes come under cryptogams, means they are non-flowering plants. These plants, these are the one which cannot bear flower. Whereas gymnosperms and angiosperms are considered to be as spinnerogams. Spinnerogams are nothing but flowering plants, and they are also called as spermatophytes. So let us learn about algae. So what is algae? Algae are the chlorophyll bearing simple thalloid autotrophic aquatic fresh organism, freshwater and marine organisms. Means these algae are simple and they are like thalloid. They can be a thalloid like this. Okay, all these are algae and they are thalloid and they are fresh. They are present in the fresh water, like it can be lakes, rivers and ponds, or they can be in the even in the oceans and even the seas. So these are the plants. These are the one which are present only in the water, either in the fresh water or in the marine water. They can be unicellular, or they can be filamentous, or they can be massive bodies. In case of unicellular forms, we have Chlamydomonas, okay, and colonial form. In colonial form, it is volvox. This is called volvox. This is the volvox, which is a colonial form, and this is a unicellular organism, Chlamydomonas. And these are filamentous. They can be filamentous like Ulothrix and Spirogyra. It's not there in this book, but Ulothrix and Spirogyra is a filamentous structures. Like this, what is the main thing you have to remember? The cell wall of this consists of cellulose and other carbohydrates. The cell wall of this, it is made up of cellulose and other carbohydrates. The reserve food here is starch. The reserve food of these organisms is starch, and these can only reproduce either vegetatively by fragmentation. Either one single Chlamydomonas can cut into other parts, or it can become a fragments, and each fragment can develop into a new Spirogyra, or when you like for example, if it is a Spirogyra, it's a Spirogyra is a cylindrical structure which has all the cell material. Here this is a cell wall, and it has inside the chlorophyll, and it has starch bodies like this. And this Spirogyra is a filamentous structure. Like this, we have filaments. All these cells. This is one cell, and this is one cell, and each cell has a can be separated by fragmentation. If a Spirogyra has so many cells like this in a form of a filament, each cell can become a can get separated by fragmentation. This like this one fragment like this, it can become so many fragments. So each fragment can develop into a new Spirogyra. This is about the fragmentation, which is a vegetative reproduction, and asexual reproduction can be of spores, and sexual reproduction can be of because of gametes, fusion of gametes. This is about the algae. So in algae we have three types of kingdoms. Like we have three types of classes under algae. Like algae can be a chlorophyceae, or it can be a Phaeophyceae, or it can be Rhodophyceae. So what are the different branches are Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae. Chlorophyceae are usually green in color, and Phaeophyceae are brown in color, and Rhodophyceae are red in color. These all are called as algae. Chlorophyceae is a green algae, and Phaeophyceae is a brown algae, and Rhodophyceae is a red algae. So I'm going to explain you what is Chlorophyceae. So Chlorophyceae and Chlorophyceae, we have volvox, which is green color. Like this is one green color volvox, which is a colonial form, and Chlamydomonas is a unicellular organism. This is also a Chlorophyceae, come under Chlorophyceae family under algae, and this also come under Chlorophyceae. That is, it is called to be as It is called to be as chara, kara. This is kara. So volvox, then chlamydomonas and kara comes under chlorophyceae. And next one we have phaeophyceae. Phaeophyceae is also called to be as a brown algae. In brown algae we have three types, like the three important which are they included in our syllabus. They are laminaria, and this is fucus, and this is dictyota. So we have laminaria, fucus and dictyota under Phaeophyceae, which is a red color algae, brown color algae. This brown is because of, and here chlorophyceae is the green color is because of the chlorophyll, a pigment called chlorophyll. In case of this algae, which is called Rhodophyceae is also having a brown color. This is because of the pigments called fucoxanthin and mannitol. So fucoxanthin and mannitol are the pigments which give the color to the Phaeophyceae. Okay, and now coming to the Rhodophyceae is also having a red pigment called as, yeah, this is called a called to be as red algae, or it is also called to be as Rhodophyceae. The algae is having this color because of phycoerythrin. It is having a pigment called phycoerythrin which gives the color to this. The examples are Porphyra and Polysymphonia. This is about the algae. And now let's go with the next part of the division in Plantae. That is nothing but bryophytes. So let us go with the bryophytes. What are bryophytes? Bryophytes include the various liverworts, onwards and mosses. They are found commonly in the moist soil, shaded areas and hilly areas. Bryophytes are usually embryophytic and archaeophytic cryptogams. I'm going to explain about that. These are amphibians. Why are they called amphibians of the plant kingdom? Usually in animal kingdom, frog is called to be as amphibian. Why do we say frog is amphibian? Because frog is the one which can stay in the water as well as land. The same way bryophytes are seen both in the water as well as on the land. Because these plants live in the moist soil, they are called to be as water soil, and they also it is called to be as a land, and they depend on water for the sexual reproduction. That is why they are called to be as amphibians. Okay, and they are usually present in the primitive. These are primitive land plants. They are kind of damp and humid and shaded localities. Usually in the hill station you can find these bryophytes. So bryophytes include liverworts, onwards and mosses. Okay, and the thallus of this organism. Thallus is nothing but the body of the organism. Like we have plant should have a roots, leaves and stems. In case of bryophytes, we don't have a true root or true stem or true leaves or true roots. So I'm going to show you what are bryophytes. So we have the bryophytes like this. This is a thallus organization where you don't have a true root. The root is in the form of rhizoids. These are called rhizoids. Here also you have rhizoids. These are the roots. These roots are called to be these are called false roots. They are not true roots. Okay, the roots are called to be as rhizoids here. And you also can, the stem is like a thallus. Can you see? And you also have a reproductive system. See, this one is called archegoniophore. Archegoniophore will carry archegonia. Archegonia means it is a female thallus. This is a female plant or female thallus. It is called, we cannot say female plant, we have to say thallus, because this is not a particular plant which is not having a root, stem or leaves. They all have a false one. So this is called as a female thallus, and this is a male thallus which has anthridiophore, which bears anthridium. It's a male part, anthridium. And now we have one more example, that is we have the funaria, which also is called a moss. Okay, funaria is also coming under bryophyte. This is also having a gametophyte. This part is called gametophyte and this is called sporophyte. In gametophyte you have leaves, main, roots, main axis and rhizoids. Rhizoids are nothing but these are called roots, and these are called leaves, which are called as phylloids, and these are colloids. Okay, and we have setae, and here this is capsules. Fruit, setae and capsule is called sporophyte. So this part and setae and capsule is called sporophyte, and the lower part is called gametophyte. So this is the bryophyte which has both gametophytic organization as well as sporophytic organization. In this we have spore called capsule here, and we have the plant called gametophyte here. This is about the bryophytes. Okay, they are, and these also, and these are the one which are present usually in the moist soil, damp soil, and the plant body produces gametes. Okay, that is why it is called gametophore. And they also have I've told you they have antheridias and archegonias. Okay, antheridia is called to be as a male one, male thallus, and archegonia is called female one. And these both, when they come for a union, when they go for sexual reproduction, they get crossed like this. They will go for the sexual reproduction where the archegonia and antheridia fuse together to form a zygote. The zygote will be a multicellular sporophyte. Okay, this sporophyte, when it is produced after the reunion, after fertilization, will produce haploid spores. This haploid spores again gives rise to a gametophyte, a plant like this. So here the archegonia, antheridium, both of them fuse together to form a the archegonium and antheridium both fuse together to form a zygote. And this zygote, when it undergoes, this is a multicellular. When it undergoes, it becomes a multicellular sporophyte. And this multicellular sporophyte will give rise to small spores in the capsule. And these spores, when they fall on the ground, again they produce into a sporophytic plant, or the gametophytic plant like this. This is about the bryophytes. The bryophytes are also called to be as amphibians of the plant kingdom. And here in this we have to remember that this also can go for sexual as well as asexual reproduction, and it is usually called to be as alternation of generation. Because why do we say this bryophytes are called to be as alternation of generation? Because here both gametophytic and sporophytic bodies are conspicuously different, and the life cycle is haplodiploidic life cycle can be seen in this. So the examples are here. We have here the liverwort. This is called Markensia plant, which is called to be as a male. This is called female thallus of Markensia, and this is a male thallus of a Markensia. These both are Markensia. Both a female as well as male thallus is present. This comes under liverworts, and this is a bryophyte. And again we also have Funaria, which is also a bryophyte, which is having gametophyte with a sporophyte. Means they are gametophyte, this part is gametophyte, this part is called sporophyte. And we also have here, we have sphagnum. Sphagnum is a gametophyte. Here the complete gametophytic plant, a bryophyte can be seen. This is about the bryophytes. And then we have the next division, that is pteridophytes. What are pteridophytes? So pteridophytes are one more new classification which is seen here. The pteridophytes are also called to be club mosses or horsetails of ferns. Okay, and the pteridophytes used for the medicinal purposes. These plants are used to be medicinal purposes and soil binders, and these are terrestrial. They are first terrestrial plants which grows a vascular tissue. So when I say about vascular tissues, here both xylem and phloem is seen in this pteridophytic plant, whereas in bryophytes and algae we don't have any vascular organization. And now coming to the next part, we have the pteridophytes are having true roots. We can see here they are the true roots. Can you all see? This is the true roots, and we also can find the stem and leaves. You can see the stem here. This is the stem, and in this case this is stems, and we can also see the leaves here and there. You can even see nodes and internodes. That is why it have true. This is called a true roots, and true stem and true leaves can be seen from the pteridophytes. But only thing you have to remember here, the vascular tissue is the first time seen in the case of pteridophytes. And these pteridophytes are usually examples are Selaginella, Equisetum. This is Selaginella, and this is called Equisetum. And we have fern plant, and we have Salvinia. These are the different parts, different examples of pteridophytes. And these pteridophytes are the one which are seen everywhere. They can be seen in cool places, damp places, steady places, and even in many sandy soil conditions also they can be seen. And the main thing to be remembered in this also is the sporophyte here, the sporophyte based sporangia. The sporophytes which usually base sporangia which produces spores. Okay, the spores when they fall, this is sporangia which base, or strobilus it is called by sporangia also. Here it bears spores, and when these spores germinate, they form the gametophytic plant again. When these spores fall on the ground, they again develop into a gametophytic plant, and the gametophytic plant again can produce male gamete as well as female gamete. Male gamete, I've told you all, the male is nothing but the antheridia, and female is called as archegonia. And when these again, the male and the female, when they fuse together, they form the zygote. The zygote is formed after fertilization, which produces again sporophytic plant like this. So this also have archegonia and antheridia like a bryophytes. This is about the pteridophytes. Pteridophytes, the best examples are Saligenilla, Equisetum, Fern, and Salvinia. These are the different plants. This is called as Saligenilla, and we have Equisetum, and we also have a fern plant, and we have Salvinia, which comes under pteridophytes. And next we have the next part, that is gymnosperms. Gymnosperms are the plants which are called to be naked plants, or these are also called to be as naked. Why do we the naked is that here the ovary, the ovules are not inside the ovary. The ovules are not enclosed by an ovary wall, and they remain exposed both in before and after fertilization. And these are called as the naked gymnosperms, and they are embryonic, and they are archegoniate and penirogams. And now we have here different types of gymnosperms. We have cycas plant, which is there in our college also, and we have a spinous plant. We also have a ginkgoga. Ginkgoga is also a one plant which is present in gymnosperms. And coming to the gymnosperms, the main characteristics of gymnosperms are here they are naked seeded plants. They also have a microspores as well as megaspores. Here the microspores are present in the microsporangia. The microspores which are present inside them, this will have present in the microsporangia. The microsporangia is enclosed in a microsporophyll. So these produces male gametes. And now coming to megaspores. Megaspore also present inside the megasporangia, and these are present in the megasporophyll, and they produce female cones. They are present in the female cones. Okay, and these male microspores which are called as male gametes, and megaspores which are called as female gametes, when they fuse together, they produce a gamete. They produce a zygote or egg. They produce a zygote which leads to embryo. And this embryo which is present, which has the ovules which have the seeds which are present open, and they are not enclosed in the ovary or inside the fruit. That is about the gymnosperms. And now gymnosperms, I've already explained you all gymnosperms. And the main thing what you have to remember in this is that we have gymnosperms divided into Psychopdipsia. Psychopdipsia is nothing but the cycas, and Conferopsidia, which is called Pinus, and Genitopsida, Genitum. These are the three different divisions which are seen in gymnosperms. Gymnosperms are divided into three classes. They are Psychopdipsida, which has cycas plants, and Coneropsida, Pinus plants, and Nitopsida, which is called to Nitum. So these are the different plants which are present in the gymnosperms. And lastly, we have last branch that is called angiosperms. Angiosperms are the one which are called to be as seeds or ovules. Ovules are not naked, but they are enclosed in the fruit. And these are called to be as special characters. We can see the pollen grains and ovules present in a flowers. So flowers is the reproductive part in the angiosperms. Angiosperm, normal plant, we can see these all normal plants which we see outside, they all come under angiosperms, because like hibiscus and all the plants which have flower bearing plants all come under this angiosperms. And angiosperms also have a male reproductive male sex organ, that is stamen, and also we have a female sex organ, that is pistil. I've already explained you. So the male one is called to be a stamen. The stamen consists of an anther and a filament. Okay, the anthers contains, the anther will be containing the pollen grains. So I'm going to show you what is it. Here, this is the flower which is called to be angiosperm. Here in the flower we can have the male part and the female part. The male part is called to be as anther. These all are the males. These are all called as stamen, which has a filament and an anther. The anther will be having the pollen grains inside them. And this is the female part of the flower, which has the style and the stigma and the ovary and the ovules inside. These both are present in a single plant, a single flower. That is what is called a bisexual flower, which has both the sexes on the same plant. It's called as unisexual flower, which has both the sexes on the same flower. And this is seen in the hibiscus. The hibiscus plant, which comes under angiosperms. Here the female, the male gamete, the anthers which have pollen grains. These pollen grains will be falling on the stigma of this plant here, because it's a unisexual flower, bisexual flower, which has both the male and female in the same plant. So the anthers, the pollen grains which are there in this male part of the flower, in the anthers, this will go and fall on the female part, and they go for the self-pollination. So these pollen grains will be traveling into the female part through the pollen tube. Once they enter into the pollen tube like this, they go for fertilization. Once they fertilize, what will happen? You can find the zygote formation inside this ovary, and this ovary will be turning into the fruit, and the ovules will be turning into seed. Okay, and you find these petals, sepals, and other. We have this all. They all will be wither away or they fall. Only this part is left. This part is called the ovary, which turns in the fruit, and the ovules will be turning in the seed. This is what happens. Like this, this is how the angiospermic plant has a male and a female in the same plant. It can be a same plant, it can be a different plant. This is about the angiosperms. In this way, we have the plant kingdom divided into 4 types of kingdoms. That is four divisions. We have the algae, and we have the algae and bryophytes and pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. This is about today's class. Thank you.